Hi everyone. This week's case study, another interesting one. And on the past two, I've talked about how we're going to start blending in the lower extremity into the pelvis. Well, this is another one of those cases. Again, this is for level 2, which is going to be, again, lower extremity, how the hip affects the knee, knee affects the ankle and foot, and vice versa, how the foot and the ankle could affect the knee then affect the hip. So this particular case, as you'll see with the pictures, I'm going to actually have, I would like you to participate with this one and just tell me what you see. I'll kind of give you a hint. It's an internal rotation of the hip joint, but let me know what side looks more internally rotated than the other side. So this client came in with symptoms really ranging from cervical, right cervical, all the way down to her right foot. She's been having this for about two plus years, she said. PT, she's gone to chiropractic, massage, and then PT again, multiple rounds of physical therapy. Really hasn't gotten any lasting results. So when I did the evaluation on her, there's a couple key things. One, as I just said, the bilateral, it wasn't really bilateral, one side's worse than the other, but there's a bilateral internal rotation of the hip joint. You'll see the right foot slightly wanting to toe out, and that's significant. Even though it's very slight, it's significant in the sense that the foot's trying to compensate for something else going on in the hip on that right side. So the other key thing was with her torso, she was actually rotated left to right. So now, which is pretty interesting and why I'm doing this case study, is that level 3 is torso and scapula. So she's rotated left to right, so she's twisted this way. She's got an internal rotation bilaterally, but one's greater than the other. And then her hands are, she has a bilateral pronation. So what I went after was two things. One, I wanted to go after the rotation of the hips, and two, I wanted to go after the rotation in her torso, so she had that left to right rotation. So what I started out with was that neutral back position. We did the knee squeezes, and then I had her do the strap around the knees, so we did the knee presses. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, well, why are you doing the knee pillow squeezes with the first exercise if she's already internally rotated? Well, I'm doing that because the knees are right in line with the hips, so I'm trying to get the adductors to function or to contract while they're in more of a neutral position, because when someone's in flexion in that neutral back, they're actually going into a little bit more external rotation at their hips. So while they're externally rotated, we're activating the adductors. From there, after the strap presses, we did the pullovers, where she just clasped her hands together, going back and forth. Now, that's important because I want to get as much symmetry as I can through the paraspinals right and left. Once we got some symmetry there, we did the reverse floor block, which is the arms at 45, and you'll see these in the pictures, rotating back. So there's a lot of activation in the mid-back, and then that's going to tie into the low back. From there, we went into the legs up the wall, the split. You'll see that in the picture. We did that because, again, one side was more internally rotated. So by going into abduction that wide, it really tries to release the adductors. Again, we're going after symmetry there. So from there, we went to the active frog. Now we use this to help engage the deep stabilizers while she was in a neutral plane. So her being prone like that, it doesn't allow any rotation to occur in the torso. And then we followed that up with the prone ankle squeezes, or the ankle squeezes prone, and that was just to get deep glute activation. Not only that, but she was getting external rotation to occur at the hips. So remember, when you're in that position prone, you're doing those squeezes, we're going after external rotation. So it's really important as far as stabilization there. And then I wanted to tie in that hip rotation externally with knee flexion. I'm going to knee flexion with those curls because as she's going through the curl, she's also getting some lumbopelvic rhythm. So as she curls up, she's going to go anterior tilt. As she lowers the leg, she's going to go relative into posterior tilt or more neutral. So she continually do that. We're trying to get that rhythm going. And that's what I ended with. So this was her first session. You know, when you look at the pictures, you're going to see we only honed in on from her hip down to her foot. So from a front view, you'll see it. From the back view, if you look at the popliteal space, back of the knee, you'll see one side more internally rotated. So again, with this particular case study, what I'd like from all of you is to let me know what side you feel is more internally rotated. So take a look at that. Let me know. Hopefully you guys are let's check out these case studies, because remember, this is a continuing education, so you guys continue to learn, and we all stay on the same page. So stay tuned, and we'll get the next one up for next week.